Nutritional labels. They can be complicated and not so user friendly. Am I right? But the thing about it is that it has a lot of information on it that can help us to understand what it is that we're eating, which can help us to make healthier decisions and also help us to know exactly like to cut down a little bit on. But it's really just for us to decide for all of that. So I'm here to make that easier for you. Hi there, and welcome back to Health Made Easy with Dr. Cheva Virgo. In the last video, we spoke a little bit about nutritional label and taking 3 steps to read nutritional label. So just in case you need a little refresher, you can just check out that video. But let's just do a little recap here of what those 3 steps were. First, checking what the serving size is and the serving per container. Second, checking out the nutritional content. And third, the daily percentage value. But now that you've got those 3 steps under your belt, we can look at checking out another section on the food label that can tell us a little bit more about what is in the food we're eating, the ingredients section. So first thing to note is that the food labels, they tend to list them according to weight or to the proportion of how much of it is in the food. Some exceptions to this would be like spices and seasoning. But most of the ingredients label are listed like this. So what it means is that the higher up an ingredient is, it means that those ingredients make up most of the food. And then the further down you go is the less of those items being in the food. So that can help you make a little bit more decision if there's something you're trying to cut down on. So if you're looking for something with whole grain and maybe the box says that it's whole grain, but then you check the label and you realize that whole grain is in the middle or listed down way down, it just means it has a little bit of whole grain in it and maybe not what you're looking for. Versus if whole grain is listed in the first 3 ingredients on it, then you know it has a lot of the whole grain in there. So as you can see, the nutritional label has many benefits to looking at. And whether it is that you're just trying to improve your eating habits, trying to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain your weight, this really does come in handy. And you realize that it's not really all about the calories. Because something can be low in calorie, but also low in nutrients, versus something being low in calorie and being high in nutrients. That's what we call the nutrient density. So this is where reading the label really, an ingredient section, it really does paint that nice little picture for you to tell you it has a lot of nutrients in there that you want or not. And let's take a quick reminder of the nutritional content as well. So there are 3 main food groups where you want to get including your diet in a good amount of proportion size, right? Because we need that for daily living. And then you have what they call the macronutrients, the carbs, the protein, and the fats. Now, I'm just going to speak briefly on those a little bit, to break them a little bit, to give you a help and idea when you're looking at the ingredients section and comparing it to the nutritional content. So, carbs. The thing about carbs is that it's gotten a bad rep, but it really depends on the type of carbs. So, as a reminder, when you see carbs at the top, it's really talking about all types of carbs, right? Not just the sugar, but it also includes like dietary fiber, for example. And the dietary fiber really is great to have in meals, and it's just for overall health. It helps you to feel full, helps you to promote regularity, helps to stabilize blood sugar levels as well. So it does have a lot of benefits to having a dietary fiber in there. Versus now, let's say the sugar, which is also broken down in the carbs, you will see on the label. Now, the sugar aspect of the carbs, just a reminder that not every food label will differentiate between telling you if there's added sugar in there or not. Some will just say total sugar. So this is where the ingredients really comes in handy. Because imagine if you see total sugar being 10 grams of sugar, but you're not too sure if it's added or natural. And then when you go into the ingredients section, you're seeing the word sugar coming out a lot, right? So here on the screen, I have a list of different words that represent the word sugar. So if anything ends in OSE, like sucrose, dextrose, that does mean like added sugar. Syrup, sugar itself, fruit juice concentrate. Just to give you an idea of what added sugar is. Too much added sugar has really linked to many diseases. Like it can raise your blood sugar levels, it can cause weight gain, amongst other health problems that it can cause as well.
According to the American Heart Association, the recommended daily limit for added sugar for a female, it should be 24 grams of sugar or less per day. That's approximately 6 teaspoons. And for a male, 36 grams of sugar or less per day, which is approximately 9 teaspoons.
Unfortunately, most of us are having like double or triple that amount. Sometimes we get that triple that amount in just one drink. So just something to be mindful of. Now we're moving on to fats. Now, not all fats are bad. There are some healthy fats, like we call it unsaturated fats or omega-3. Then you have the less healthy fats, which means you want it in lower amounts, which is the saturated fat. And then you have fat that you really, really want to avoid, and that's a trans fat, or you might see it on the label in the ingredients section, you might see partially hydrogenated oil. And they're usually found in like butter, some baked goods, chips. They tend to cause a lot of health problems like raising your bad cholesterol levels, increasing your risk for heart diseases. And because it's so unhealthy for us, they don't even put a percentage on it because they really recommend that you avoid it overall. So just to kind of sum that up, on the label, you'll see total fat, then you'll see saturated fat, trans fat as well. And if you kind of want to have an idea of what the healthy fat is, you can just minus the trans fat and saturated fat from the total fat to give you that idea. Now there's protein as well. And protein, ideally you want a good amount of protein in your diet because it has so many benefits in the body, like increasing metabolism, helping you feel full longer, and it helps in recovery of exercise and like promoting building muscles as well. There's benefits upon benefits. That's something you want to be mindful of, that you're getting a good amount of protein for the day. So let's move to salt, also known as sodium on the label. So according to American Heart Association, 2,300 milligrams a day is the recommended limit for most adults. It can be lower for persons with certain illnesses like high blood pressure. So just check your label to see the salt intake, and you may even realize that you don't even need to add extra salt in the food that you're cooking because it's in other things like even your seasoning. So that's something to be mindful of when looking at the ingredient label and cooking. Now, there's some smaller things that I didn't talk much about, but you'll see it on the label. So I'm going to quickly mention it. And that's like the vitamins, and minerals, which are called micronutrients. You need them in smaller amounts. Yes, they are important. We do need them. Just that those foods that tend to have a label on them tend not to have substantial amount of those vitamins and minerals in them. So I usually recommend that mainly focusing more on getting those micronutrients from fruits and vegetables, and versus trying to get them from the processed foods. If you eat those in adequate proportions and have your daily servings, you tend to meet your daily requirement of micronutrients. So now that you're mastered reading food labels, I just encourage you to go and practice looking at it. After a while, you just be looking at it with the ease and just scanning through very quickly and can help you make a bit more of an informed decision. However, keep in mind though, that even though some things are healthy, you still need to be mindful of portion size, because even though things are healthy, if you eat double the serving size, you have to double the calories and the nutritional content as well. Also, a side note is that just because it says serving size on the container doesn't exactly mean it's recommended size for us to eat, because some of them can be a little unrealistic. So to make this a little bit easier and kind of reduce taking in more than you need, in the next video we'll share 5 tips on how to portion your plate in a very, very easy way and help you stay on track with your eating habits. Now, if you like this video and found it useful, please leave a like and share with friends and family who you think might benefit from these little nuggets. Also, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the next video is out. Now, be well, take care, and see you soon.